Alright guys, so Violet asked, what do we need to do to our file before we send it off for 3D printing, right? So there's a few steps to do before you send out for your 3D print, right? First things first, so I have my Labube out here, she's already cut up into parts, she's printable, right? I've printed her. So like, first things first, typically when you sculpt, right? Your mesh will typically be made of multiple parts, right? You can see all the different polygroups I have here, right? That made the Labube head. So what you want to do is you want to, like as you sculpt, you want to start to split your model into their various components, as well as build in all the plugs and all those things, right? So this is the one that I already did. I won't go too deep into how to make all these, right? I mean, if you probably need a separate tutorial on how to make all of these ports, all these like keys, right? So you do need to make these if your model is made of very complicated parts, and you need to split them. So it's up to you to decide where and how you want to split your model for ease of painting and whatnot, right? So you need to split your model first, include building all of these keys. Okay. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to merge the model. So you can do your keys first, or you can merge it first. These two are quite interchangeable depending on how you want to do it, right? Usually I depends on my mood, so there's no hard or fast rule whether you merge first or you key first, right? But the next thing you need to do is to go and merge everything. So how do we do that? You can do any way you like, right? You can use the Boolean unions, or you can just Dynamesh the whole thing, because we're going to decimate it anyway, right? So maybe sometimes Dynamesh is better, sometimes Boolean is better, depending on how complex your model is. So right now I'm going to Dynamesh her. Right? So now she is Dynameshed. Right? And then we can decimate. So you go to Z plugin. Where is it? Decimation master. Right, so typically you need to pre-process. So right now she's about 4.855 million, right? That's unnecessarily high. So what you want to do after you Dynamesh or merge everything together is you want to decimate it. So under Z plugin, you go to decimation master, then you press pre-process current, and then you let it run its pre-process, right? It's analyzing mesh. All right, so it's done its processing. And then we can decimate it. So Z plugin, decimation master, percentage of decimation. So they write 20%. You can have anything that you like, right? We decimate it to 20% remainder. So we just press decimate current, and it will decimate. So from 4 million, it's now 900,000, right? And you can see that the mesh will optimize itself to all of the necessary details will have higher resolution, and all of the smoother stuff will have, all of the smooth stuff will have less, and all of the detailed stuff will have more, right? So it makes it just lighter, makes your file lighter, right? So you have to decimate the thing once you merge everything together, just to clean up the file, right? The next thing that you want to check is you want to check whether your mesh has holes. So you go to Z plugin, 3D print hub, check mesh volumes, right? So you can click it. Current tool is not a solid, cannot compute volume. So that's what happens when there's holes in your model. So you do need to fix that, right? After decimation, then you check whether there's holes, and then you can start to fix that, right? In order to fix that, it's pretty tricky. You may need to iterate a little bit. You need to do a bit of back and forth to go and look for all the holes and all that. But my favorite, there's some techniques. First one is under modify topology. So under geometry on your sidebar, there is modify topology, and then there is a close hole button, close holes right here, right? So you can click that, and then it will attempt to close the holes, right? And then you can check mesh volume again. Like I put my check mesh volume down here, right? Compute to not a solid, cannot compute volume. So you may need to like press it a few times, check mesh volume, and see whether it works. Sometimes you may need to decimate it a little bit more. Right here, you need to adjust a little bit. You may need to do a bit of finagling. So maybe we go to about... Okay, so another function of decimation master is that there's presets. So I can press 250k maybe. Right. So the amount of polygons depends on your system. So you definitely don't want to go into the millions. If you can do with less, of course it's better, right? More ideal. So we'll let it decimate again, maybe to 250. Then we'll see whether we lose any detail or whatever, right? This one is up to you, right? So we still retain detail, which is fine. Right. Then again, we check for holes. Mesh volume, not solid. Okay, we press those holes and check again. Yeah, you may need to do this a few times until it's done. Sometimes there is fragments and whatnot. So my favorite technique is to simply split two parts. You see, then they'll start to split everything. So these are all like fragmented stuff that you don't really need. So you just click back the main one, you check check mesh volume. Yeah. So you have to do a little bit of this kind of back and forth until it's done, right? Technically, after you do that back and forth, you may need to use weld points as well, close holes, right? Check, right? So you may need to keep on adjusting it, right? Another technique that I like to use is just to retopologize the thing with a quick Z remesher and then just project back the details. Sometimes it's easier to close holes that way. There's multiple. There's multiple methods. They're all very troublesome, right? But eventually it will fix itself, right? So you should get an alert like this when you have it done properly, right? So when you check mesh volume, yeah, mesh volume is cubic millimeters, right? This is the kind of alert that you have. If you have this message, right, then you are good to go, okay? Now, another thing that you may want to consider is the size of the model, because you're going to be 3D printing this in real scale. So in ZBrush, there is a thing called the Scale Master. So under Z plugin, there's Scale Master, right? What I usually like to do is I like to change it to cm. I like cm. Then I press 1 unit helper. Then it will make a 1 cm by 1 cm by 1 cm cube for you, right? And then you can scale your model appropriately to what size you want to print it. Typically, I will send this cube to my printer as well, because I usually outsource my printing. And I ask him to check, like, is this cube 1 cm by 1 cm by 1 cm? If it's not, we adjust this and then scale the model appropriately to the ratio, right? But more or less, it should be correct. So you have a 1 cm cube, and then you have a rough idea what size you want your thing in real life, and then you just scale your model appropriately. Okay? Yeah. The next thing that you want to do, right? You can do this. The next thing that you want to do is that you want to again split your model. After you merge your model, right? You want to kind of separate it out, right? So in my case, I have merged them all into one subtool. If you did that, you need to split them out into separate subtools. If you already work like that, then you can just leave it. But each subtool needs to be like one whole merged part. So you can split the parts. Then it will split it into all the different parts for me, right? And each of these parts need to be sent out as individual like OBJs or STLs, right? So you can simply go to Z plugin. So once everything is all separated, right, then you can go to Z plugin, 3D Print Hub, export to OBJ, right? Export options, the visible one will select Once you are happy with the settings, then you can export to OBJ, right? What do you call it? The demo. Right. And then they'll ask you to save your subtool name. Yeah, use the subtool name. This one you know what you want to do. Right, this one's pretty straightforward. So you can either call it the name of the subtool or whatever. Right. Then it will export them out as individual OBJs. Right, and then those files you can send to your printer. Right. So these are the steps to prepare your model for 3D printing. Cool. Thank you. See you in the next video.